the Winchester SXP Trench gun. Let's check it out. When you think about Winchester, you think about the Old West, you think about police cruisers carrying a Model 12, and you think about the trench gun. Winchester released their 1897 trench gun, which was an external hammer-fired. It served during World War I, and then they designed the Model 12 trench gun, which was a pump-action shotgun, very similar to the one that I'm holding. They were devastating on the battlefield. Had the heat shield, had a bayonet lug. I mean, they just looked mean. So Winchester introduced their XSP line, and with that, their version of a modern trench gun. This is a 12-gauge pump. It has the heat shield, no bayonet lug, but this is one of the fastest actions for a pump on the market. In fact, 3 shots in a half second. This is fast as any semi-automatic. And one thing about a pump shotgun is they're very reliable. And the 12-gauge shotgun is purportedly the best option for home defense, but also used by a lot of police agencies. And again, used on the battlefield. And we want to give a big thank you to Nate over at Guns on Deals for sending the Winchester XSP Trench gun for this review. Winchester XSP, which stands for Super X Pump. This is really modeled after the Model 12, which was one of the most popular pump action shotguns ever created, outside of maybe the Remington 870. And while Winchester did make the 1897, which was the original trench gun, the Model 12 became the trench gun as well. The one thing that this is missing is the bayonet lug. But this gives it a modern twist to a really classic, proven design. Now, while wood stocks have kind of fallen out of favor as far as popularity, a lot of people still love them. I personally love a good wood stock. So we have an 18-inch barrel, and we'll talk about some of the features, but it's a very handy home defense type firearm, self-defense firearm. And guys, while the one bane for the shotgun is it is limited to close range, but what it does well is up close and personal. It's devastating. And to be honest with you, I don't know of anything that actually is any better at close range. And it's one of the reasons why that the 12-gauge shotguns have been used by the U.S. military, by law enforcement, by home defenders for a long time, and by hunters. Now, according to Winchester, these are made in Turkey. They work with a company there that produces these shotguns, and it just brings it at a budget price. To be honest, I was a little surprised. I mean, Winchester being an American company, but again, Turkey is making some really high-quality shotguns, and this is actually no exception. We check to make sure the gun is safe. The tube is empty, and the chamber's empty. Now, the XSP is a 3-inch chamber, and it does have a 5-round mag capacity. These are 2 3/4 inches buckshot. And we're going to do some testing at the range with some different loads, just to give you an idea how effective it is at 10 and then 20 yards. Very nice wood stock, definitely, more traditional. There is checkering here at the pistol grip, which gives you just a little bit of texture to be able to grip that. It is somewhat muted. It's not very aggressive, but it's not bad. Also, we have the Inflex Technologies recoil pad. And this gives you a rough texturing toward the back to rest on your shoulder, and then right here, this is honestly very effective. When I was shooting it, I didn't know the details of the Inflex, but this really helps absorb recoil. We were shooting buckshot and slugs, and it was just really not a lot than your standard field load. Now, the receiver's alloy is machined out of one piece of bar stock. It is drilled and tapped on the top, so you could put an optic or a rail on there. This has a black chrome finish. It's very matte. There's no glare. Honestly, it's a very smooth finish. Here we have our trigger guard. It looks like it's polymer. We do have a steel trigger, and you have one pin to be able to take this out really easily to be able to keep that cleaned. And we'll demonstrate that when we break it down. Here you have your loading elevator right here. Very easy to load. Cross bolt safety, which is traditional. Here at the back of the trigger guard, we have our bolt release. And this just allows you to pump the shotgun without having to pull the trigger. Now the bolt and bolt carrier are chrome plated. This has a little bit more of a matte finish, but you can see the bolt is 4 lugs, so it's going to give a very secure grip on the shell. And also the chamber and the barrel have been chrome plated as well. Just gives it better weather resistance, but it also makes it very slick to move in and out of the action and to keep clean. But the Inertia system is really slick. In fact, when you fire the round, it actually kicks the bolt back. I was watching some range footage before, I got all of my research together, and honestly, I thought something was wrong. I mean, it just pops open. And you'll notice that during the shooting. It'll just pop open, and then it makes it super fast to be able to get in there. And they call it the Inertia assisted slide action, but it is super fast. In fact, this has been tested at 3 shots at half a second. I mean, that's as fast as a semi-auto. Plus, when you pump it forward, you get back on target. Ribbed wood forearm matches the stock really beautifully. Those ribs give you a good solid purchase when you're pumping the action. And then we have the heat shield. Now the heat shield is not attached. It's just really easy. There's a bolt up here and it's simple to put on. But this just locks it in. And guys, this does give you a lot of heat dissipation when you're firing, especially if you're in the field all day. And obviously these were used by the U.S. military to keep this down. Now also, if there's a lot of heat on the barrel, this actually insulates it just a little bit more in case you get your hand up here. It does have kind of a gloss finish. I would like to see it more of this matte finish. I think it would match really well. But still very effective. We have the dual action slide bars, which are made of steel. They're on either side of the pump, as you can see, and this really just gives this a lot more strength. It keeps this from binding and wobbling. And so when you're pulling this back, it makes it really fast. Now we do have an 18-inch steel barrel, and it has that chrome matte finish on it. Very well done. I really like the finish. And then here with your tube, it's a very fast, easy disassembly. We'll look at that in a minute. There is a plug which limits it for hunting. But honestly, this is not really a hunting shotgun. It was not installed when I got the shotgun, but it does come with the box. And honestly, this gives it a little better lockup with the heat shield on the tube with the barrel. We have a brass bead at the front, but this is a fixed cylinder bore, and that means it's just open. So you can fire buckshot, slugs, birdshot, whatever. It's not going to give you a super tight group like some of the chokes, and it's not made to have chokes, but most of the SXP line does have a choke system. But really for a self-defense, up close and personal, that's what you need. Just a modern shotgun. All right, let's check the trigger action. We have some take up right to here. Very short take up. Little bit of stacking and then a nice break. Not bad. Reset right there. Very quick reset. All right, checking trigger pull weight with our Lyman trigger gauge. 3 pounds, 8.3 ounces. 3 pounds, 15.1 ounces. Not bad. Big thanks to Fiocchi for sponsoring our ammunition. We have some different shotgun loads. They have a number of different type shotgun shells. We're going with the target loads, and these are 2 3/4. Then we have the slugs, and because this is cylinder bore, we can shoot slugs, and also we're going to be shooting some buckshot. All this is 2 3/4, but this will take the 3-inch shells. Of course, just feeds like your standard pump action shotgun. Pretty smooth. 5 rounds. That's it. So it holds 5 rounds. Winchester's been a household name for American guns for a long time. And a lot of them were part of what won the Old West. Today we're going to take a look at the Winchester Trench gun. And this is the XSP line. It has a heat shield, it's pump action, has beautiful wood stock. It's just a gorgeous gun. That pump action is very reliable. And we're going to shoot some birdshot first. It's really mild to shoot.
mean, the birdshot, target loads, real simple. But now we're gonna shoot some buckshot. I mean, not bad. Not bad at all. And this makes a great home defense firearm. I mean, because of the pump action, you want to make sure you get that cadence right, but it's very reliable. 18.5-inch barrel, makes it very compact, and nice rubber butt pad at the back. But just an excellent shotgun. I have a slug, double-aught buck, and then we have field loads. We're going to shoot all 3 rounds into a paper target at about 10 yards. We're going to see how that does. All right, first we're going to be shooting the field loads. Next, middle of the target, we're going to shoot buckshot. Then we're going to shoot the slug. All right, with the field loads, you can see 10 yards. You have the whiting right here that went through the cardboard, but I mean a pretty decent sized group. And again, this is cylinder bore. Here we have the buckshot, and all in a decent group, whiting here. And then we have the slug. I mean, just solid right through it. All right, we're now at 20 yards, and we're going to see how it does, starting out again with the target load. Now the buckshot. And now the slug. Okay, here we are at 20 yards. Big, wide pattern for the field loads, which we expected. Here we have the buckshot, and this is the whiting, and here is the slug. So slug and the buckshot doing pretty good. Those field loads really spread out. Give you a better idea, this was the 10 yards right here, and you can see the target loads kind of in one little area. When we come to this one at 20 yards, I mean, it's all over the place. So definitely you can see the difference directly on the back side of the target.
Now we're going to disassemble and look at some of the details. Now to get started, let's make sure our tube's empty, and we're going to check the chamber, make sure that it's empty. Next, take your crossbolt safety, go ahead and put it on safe. Now first you're going to have to take off the heat shield, and this is attached to the tube. It's only attachment point here, and it clicks into the barrel. So we're going to go ahead and take just a hex wrench, and we can take that off. And then this pulls off. Then here at the end, just pull it forward because it is under pressure. Next, just go ahead and unscrew your cap on your tubular magazine. Relieve the pressure off your barrel from the cylinder, and then just go ahead and pull your barrel right off. Now you can leave this section on for disassembly. Now you can leave this, now you can leave the heat shield mount on for disassembly. But if you want to take off your hand guard, you're going to have to, okay, no, you can't do that. Okay. Then the mount from your heat shield just comes right off. Then we're going to go ahead and take our heat shield mount. Just going to bring it off the end. Next, we're going to remove our trigger group, and it's held in by this one pin. And then we can just pull down on the trigger group at an angle, and it pulls right out. This is pretty impressive. I mean, it's a chassis system. It encases your whole hammer and your trigger group, and so very well done. Next, go ahead and pull off our forearm and our bolt carrier group. Now when it comes to your bolt carrier group, don't just pull it off. Take and push the firing pin in, and then just lift it up. If you don't, the firing pin will come flying out, but it just comes right off, and we have our spring. Firing pin has a retainer right here, and I'll show you how to put that in, but that's a pretty cool looking firing pin. The bolt, it's pretty heavy, and of course you have your 4 lugs. They lock up, and then we have the rotating bolt system. So that makes it really strong, nice extractor right here. There is a bolt channel that has this bolt, and there's a little pin on top. And I really couldn't figure out how to pop that out. It seems to be captured, but with this system, it's pretty solid, so it should be fine. We took the fore end off the first time. You have a castle nut, but you don't have to take the fore end off to be able to remove the fore end assembly or to remove the barrel. Take your firing pin spring, take Take your bolt carrier, go ahead and put it into the back, into your bolt. And then you want to depress it and you want to hold it. Take your forearm assembly, you'll notice this piece that kind of sticks up, and this goes in between your firing pin into that gap. And that's what retains your firing pin. So we're going to take it, push it forward just a little bit, and it locks into place and you can let go of your firing pin. In fact, it'll even switch up like this, but again, you don't want to lift that up. Take your forearm assembly, put it over your tube. You can go ahead and just place it right in to the action. Next, take your heat shield mount, place it onto it. We'll line it up in just a minute. Take the barrel ring, place it down, and go ahead and go over your tube and go into your receiver at the same time. Now we're going to take our tube cap, and that locks the barrel down. You know, make sure it's good and tight. Now make sure your forearm is in the fully extended position, and then we're going to take our trigger group. There's two bars that have a little give. You want to push those together and just insert it into your receiver, just like that. And it should fit really easily. Then we're going to take our pin, our retainer pin, and it goes in really easily. Let's go ahead and take our heat shield. We're going to start out toward the front of the barrel because it gets a little thicker, and then it just slides right onto the barrel. Then we'll line up our mount. When it comes to the heat shield, these wings kind of fold out just a touch, and you're going to want to make sure that you are pressing them some to be able to catch those threads. And you'll know immediately when you start getting tension on the screw. And you want to make sure that's good and tight. Now we're going to test for function, and we're back in business. Now it comes down to the price. The manufacturer suggested retail is $429. Gun Zone deals, $275. That is a huge plus. Under $300 for a really quality pump action shotgun. Now this one again is made in Turkey, but Turkey is putting out some very high quality firearms, whether it's handguns, rifles, or shotguns. But they seem to really excel in the shotgun realm. But guys, honestly, if you wanted to purchase this made in the USA, it'd be double the price. What are some pros and cons? Has that beautiful wood stock, very well done. The ribs on the handguard really hold onto your hand. The heat shield does work, keeps the heat off the barrel, especially if you get your hand near it. It's very handy with an 18-inch barrel. That Inertia fired recoiling system is phenomenal. It is super fast. And then with the 4 lugs, you've got a lot of strength. 5-round tubular magazine. It is drilled and tapped. And I really like the recoil pad system. The Inflex technology definitely makes this a very soft shooting gun along with the Inertia assisted slide. It just takes some of the punch out of the recoil. So what are some cons? The polymer trigger guard, I really like to have a steel trigger guard or at least an aluminum, but that really just cuts down on the price. The finish is absolutely beautiful, but the handguard actually has more of a gloss finish to it. I would really have liked to have seen it match the receiver itself. And these are produced in Turkey, which I'm not a big fan of their political regime, but the companies producing these firearms are privately owned companies. So take that with a grain of salt. But overall, the biggest pro is the price. At well under $300, I mean, this makes an excellent option, especially for those on a budget, to have something to be able to defend their home. And to me, that is one of the biggest pluses for this shotgun. And while it's not necessarily made by Winchester, it goes by the Winchester tradition. And the Model 12 was incredibly proven, but with the XSP, this gives you even more modern features. Guys, an excellent choice for home defense, the Winchester XSP Trench gun. I mean, it's just so fast to shoot. It really absorbs the recoil. It's built like a tank, and it has a heat shield for those really crazy encounters. And again, a big thank you to Nate over at Gun Zone Deals for sending the Winchester SXP Trench gun for this review. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic.
This is as fast as Emmy. This is as fast as Emmy, and used all through World War I, World War II. I don't know how long they've been used. Don't know. Just don't know. Is the M97. Okay, did I say M94? I don't know. And so we're going to take a good look. We're going to do some testing with. Okay.